Hi, welcome to my channel. This video is about my trip to Florida that I took with two of my sisters. We flew Spirit from Chicago to Fort Lauderdale. It was a good flight overall, but was crowded because there was the football championship game going on, which was IU versus Miami, and we were flying into Fort Lauderdale, which is by Miami. It's kind of funny because I actually went to IU, but I don't watch football or pay attention to any sports, so I didn't know it was happening, but it was kind of fun to be there still. The first thing that we did after landing was get Chick-fil-A for lunch, and then we went to the beach, and we went to North Beach, Miami Beach, which I've never been to, but the water was super clear and we went swimming and it was really fun. We're in Miami right now and we are getting coffee at a random little coffee shop. I don't really remember the name, but I can definitely look it up. But I look so disgusting because I went swimming in the ocean a little bit ago and it was really fun. The water was super clear. And now we're driving down to the Keys and we have a hotel in Marathon Key tonight, so that's our plan. I think we're gonna stop at some like fish place where you like feed the fish or something. I don't really remember what it's called, but I will definitely film that. And I got matcha from White Rose Coffee and it was really good. And then we headed down to Islamorada Key and we stopped at the visitor center, and if you need a restroom, they do have one. And we drove to Robbie's, which is a restaurant like right on the water with shops, and they also have tarpon feeding, and tarpon are like really big fish, and you buy a bucket of fish and then you can just drop them in through the nets to feed the tarpon. I don't know that I would come back here though because it did feel a little bit icky, kind of just like unethical, I guess, but you can make that decision for yourself. It's just because there's pelican everywhere that are trying to get the fish from the tarpon and from everyone, and it's actually illegal to feed the pelican and to feed manatees, but people were kind of taunting the pelicans and it just felt kind of mean. I feel like maybe they just need more employees out there to stop people from waving the fish around in front of the pelicans and then also simultaneously yelling at the pelicans, and definitely to stop them from throwing fish at manatees. It was cool to see the pelicans up close and to see that manatee, but I don't think I'd recommend it. Then we got dinner at Dockside Boot, which is a bar restaurant that had live music. And I got fish and chips, which was actually really good. And you can just like look down off the edge and see these little fish swimming around. There's a light that shines onto them. And then we went shopping at this Surf Style. It's supposed to be the biggest Surf Style location in Florida. And if you're not familiar with it, it's just a really big chain store that's like souvenirs. And I got this necklace, which is stainless steel, so I can wear it in the water. And then we just went to the hotel and checked in.
Because it's running from the window.
I'm pretty.
Look at the manatees kissing.
I like the shells. That night we went for a night swim because the skies were clear and the stars were super bright, and the swimming pool at the hotel is really warm. It's almost as warm as a hot tub. I would definitely stay there again. The next morning we woke up for sunrise and it was cloudy, so we didn't get to see the sunrise. And then we got breakfast at this bagel shop and brought it back to the hotel and ate it outside on the beach. Then we set out for the day, but what are these birds doing? They're just like frozen in the trees. We were on a mission to find the Keys deer, which are really tiny deer that only grow to be about 20 to 30 inches tall, fully grown. So they're super tiny, like dog-sized deer, and they're really adorable. They can be found on No Name Key and Big Pine Key, and they're friendly, but of course you should not touch or feed them. We were just driving around kind of aimlessly looking for them, and we saw some in the neighborhoods and then in some of the streets. We wanted to check out Bahia Honda State Park, and I have been here before. I don't think I mentioned, but I've been to the Keys with my husband about 10 years ago, but I don't really remember a lot of it. This park was really cool, but the weather was just not ideal for like having really blue water. Because it was cloudy, it just didn't look that nice. So we just explored the park for a little bit, and then we went back to Marathon Key to go to Sombrero Beach. nice beach time. It was getting late, so we decided to get dinner and go back to the hotel. We actually just made a reservation for around 7:30, I think, at a restaurant that was right next to our hotel. And we went to our hotel to swim for a little while before that because, like I said, the pool water was super warm. The next morning was Key West Day, so we checked out of that hotel and drove back over 7 Mile Bridge to Key West. The first thing we did was go to Ron John Surf Shop because my sisters really love that store. I didn't buy anything there, but I went to check it out. Then it was key lime pie time. We got it from here, and we had been meaning to get some key lime pie, but we never got around to it. And this place was really good. It was a little expensive, but it was definitely worth it, and it was really cute looking. And then we got lunch, and I had a chicken burrito, and it was really good. And then we went to Fort Zachary Taylor Historic State Park. And if you're not familiar with this place, it's a historic fort, and there's also a beach here, and you can walk around the fort. This day was actually pretty chilly. I think it was like 65 and like 20 mile per hour winds out of the north. So I did have to wear a sweatshirt and pants, so it wasn't great beach weather. But surprisingly, at this beach, it was really nice because it was kind of tucked away on like the south side of the island. So it was kind of like a little cove, and you really couldn't feel the wind, and we really got lucky with that. And it was really empty because of the weather. This place is known for having good snorkeling, but both times I've been here in my life, the water was pretty foggy, so you weren't able to see anything, so I'm not really sure if that's true or not. By the time we were done at the beach, we were able to check into our hotel, which was the Blue Flamingo Resort. This hotel was really nice. The only issue that we had was that they didn't tell us we had to have a reservation and a ticket to take the free shuttle downtown, so we weren't able to take it downtown. We were only able to take it back to the hotel in the evening. And parking downtown is like $7 an hour, so it was kind of annoying. But I would stay here again because it was still the cheapest hotel in Key West. And then after changing out of our swimsuits, we took an Uber back downtown, and we did some shopping on Duval Street and kind of just walked around. And then we got a margarita at Margaritaville. We went to a restaurant that had outdoor seating and cheeseburgers, and it was really good, but I can't find it on Google. There's also baby chickens. Good morning. It's the next day, and yesterday we were at Key West, but today we're still at Key West, but we're not really doing a lot in Key West. I think we're gonna start driving north because we're staying in Fort Lauderdale area tonight. So we're gonna go to the beach in Fort Lauderdale, and I think we're mostly just gonna drive and then go to the beach today. We might try to go see the southernmost point in the US, which is that like big buoy looking thing, but I think it might be under construction, so we'll see. This is a fun roadside stop. It's just a giant lobster statue that you can take pictures in front of, and there's a bunch of little like gift shops connected together, a few restaurants, and some restrooms. Once we got back to Fort Lauderdale, we went to the beach for a little bit, and of course, it was cold and windy. I think it was like 65 and like almost 30 mile per hour winds. So we didn't stay there very long. We just walked around town, did some shopping, ate some food, and we checked into our last hotel, which is Great Escape Apartments. It was alright, but not amazing. And in the evening, we went to Cheesecake Factory because my sisters had never been there before. And on the last day, our flight was in the evening to go home, but of course the weather was still not great, so we decided to actually drive across Florida to the Gulf side because the weather was a lot nicer over there, and we would have had, I think we had 3 hours over there in Naples, so it was a good idea, and I definitely would do it again. While driving across the state, we drove through the Everglades, not the national park, but the Everglades area, and we saw a ton of alligators on the side of the road. If you're driving in this part of Florida, make sure to look in the water in the ditches. It's the last day, and we're supposed to go home today, but we had like almost a full day in Fort Lauderdale, but the weather was supposed to be really bad, so we decided to drive across Florida and spend the day in Naples. So right now we're in Naples, and we're planning to just go to the beach and then eventually drive back to Fort Lauderdale and then catch our flight home. So hopefully we don't have any issues and we actually make it on our flight and everything. I know it's like kind of risky, but the weather was like 28-mile-an-hour winds today and like 60 degrees and cloudy. So we were really kind of bored. We already shopped a lot, so we didn't want to shop anymore. So yeah.